Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sentiment Final Demo. I'm Samya.
I'm Brandon.
Yeah.
And together we're Sentiment. So, as you can see, this is the main entry page. So let's register a user. Um, let's say John Doe. And what's the first name? Company ID, let's say to email. Okay, let's register. This user already exists. Whoops. So that's the case if the users already exist. Let's pick another name. Let's say um, Jason Smith. So that Smith. The password, and let's say that's the company ID. Let's change that. And then register. Okay, perfect. So let's log in now with that same name that we just registered. Okay, so since we just created this user, you cannot retrieve a journal entry as it should be. And let's write our own journal entry. Let's say that, hey, today is a beautiful day. And as you can see, and then you can continue typing whatever you want, and then you can choose to share this journal entry. So let's just say we want to share this with our HR representative or employer. And then as you can see, this is a positive sentiment. So let's pick joy, and then I'll hit submit. And then what the byproduct of that will be that a relevant journal entry that corresponds to my sentiment of being joy will show up, and it'll suggest ways of being more happy, right? So it'll say these are all the things you can do. You can go out into the nature, get some fresh air, start exercising, all of that. We can also retrieve the journal entry that I just submitted, right? So let's do today's date because today's the date that I created it, and retrieve journal entry. And here you see it, hey, today is a beautiful day. Right. And we can also go to mental health resources, right? Let's just say um, I'm feeling, I want to know like how to feel better um, about my day, right? What to do if you're sad, for example. And then let me hit select, and then it'll give you ideas, right? Like journaling, take some time outside, and other suggestions like take a cold shower are suggested. I can also create my own journal. Sorry, I can create my own mental health resource article, right? So let's just say we love presentations. Um, and this would be a trust sentiment in my case. And then I just say, I love how I can trust presenting in front of everybody. And then I can talk about like why it's such a positive feeling for me, and then keep going on. And then I just hit add. And then this should show up here, right? So what I called it, we love presentations. And then if I do a select, it shows up. I love how I can trust presenting in front of people. So now let's go back. Let's just say if I'm in a state of emergency, I can hit the emergency button. And as you'll see, it'll say the help is on its way. So this is when the paramedics is contacted and help is on its way. Next, moving on to the therapist.
Right. So this is the therapist view. And as you can see, we have the 4 therapists registered on the database. Henry, Heather, Peter, Sarah, followed by their hourly rates. Now if we want to schedule an appointment, we hit schedule appointment. We fill out this form that asks for the name, the therapist name. Let's do Peter. Okay, appointment date. and appointment time. Now keep in mind that the time is supposed to be between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. We schedule the appointment. This adds it to the database. So if you go to users, yeah, Jason Smith, expand on schedule, appointment date, name, time, date, yeah, and the patient name has been added along with therapist name. Good. And next step is to proceed to payment. Since we selected Peter Griffith, we can see that that name has been added to the cart along with the amount due. You enter then the payment details down below in this form. This will not be added to the database as this is sensitive information. Once we fill this out, we can hit checkout and it'll redirect us back to the appointment page.
Now let's go back to, let's log out of this and go into another use case, which would be a therapist registration. So all those therapist names that you saw previously were registered and approved by the admin. So let's just come up with Kim K, for example. The first name is Kim. K is Kapoor. Password, let's just say, is this. And company, I'll say Sheridan College. And okay, and then when I hit register for this, the admin will take care of this registration because we just don't want anyone to be able to therapist register, and yeah, and they'll just wait for an email from confirming their approval. Moving on to institution login, we can do a group registration because we don't have an institution yet. Nira?
So here, as part of our functionality, we can have a group register, and that institution can be any name. So let's create a sample institution. Sarai Senior Uni. Let's give it a password. So now once we've registered, we can go back in. We can now log in via that institution name and that password. And from here, based on the users that are part of our institution, if the user chooses to share or not share their journal entry, if they do choose to share their journal entry, we'll be able to enter their user identification number here, submit the identification number. And once that's submitted, I can choose a user from the list of dropdowns. So if I do select that user, I'm able to see the journal entry that person has entered into their system. So that could be, this is the functionality for an HR manager, but as a guidance counselor for a school, I can use the same thing. If you look at the, you gotta scroll up.
Yes. So this is my Jason Smith that I just registered.
Yep. So if we add his ID number 1256, submit, we can now choose that user from that dropdown. We see how it adds it, and we can now see the journal entry that person's entered. So here, today is a beautiful day, and that's also reflected in the databases as well.
Also, there can be a use case where the user chooses not to share their journal entry. Nira, what was that person's name that you chose?
That could be Kalo 7.
Oh, they didn't have a name. They didn't have a number.
If you would just want to pick Jason Smith again and change the share from a share, just put Nolan, and it'll show that it's not shared. So it only shares values that are specifically shared. Otherwise, it isn't shared. So if we just modify.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, let's do that. So let's log out. Let's just say I changed my mind as Jason Smith. That I want to hide my journal entry. So for today, I'll say blah, blah. It's a blah day. I'll choose not to share my journal entry, and then I'll do sad, you could say, and then I hit submit. And here, relevant resources still displayed. I'll log out. And then when I go to institution login, Ryerson Uni, I log in. Let me try and add 1256, right? Okay, and if I hit select, it'll only display the one that I allowed, right? So this was the one that I showed before at the beginning. But the blah 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 didn't show up because I chose not to share it. And then we can also show another sample user that we registered. So that's the identification number that they have. Let me just add that in. Submit identification number if I select. And this is what Pam Beasley wrote about her dog dying, and she was sad. So yeah, those are the different users and trees you can have. And finally, yeah, you've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And we hope you have a great day.
Thank you.